Hello, hi everybody. Very, very good afternoon. Are you ready to rock and roll? If you can hear me loud and clear, everyone, can you just give me a hey, give me a hello? We have Balvinder, greetings from Kuwait. Wow, I didn't know we have international presence today. So anybody from anywhere else? Paylin, very nice. Azrina, hello. Okay, you guys can hear me loud and clear. So I hope you're excited because today we have like an amazing speakers to be able to share with us. So without further ado, let's jump right into today. Okay. If you guys can see my screen, just give me a shout out. Rabi Atul, hello, and it's a nice smiley face there. Okay, everyone. Today's topic is brought to you by MEPN, Machinery and Equipment Productivity Nexus, as a part of one of the nexuses of Malaysia Productivity Corporation. All right, so gang, we have the next packed 1.5 hours for you. So let's peel in. The Machinery and Equipment Productivity Nexus is fully supported by MPC and is very much focused on upskilling and reskilling programs, especially in the digitalization and transformation of SMEs and businesses all around Malaysia. So for those of you who have not participated in any of the programs and this is your first, stay tuned right until the end because we have something really exciting to share with you. All right. So if I can, just a little bit of housekeeping, guys. I know your videos and your audios are turned off, but feel free to communicate and chat us up or chat me up if you want inside the chat box. All right, and take lots of notes, have a notebook nearby you, and last but not least, super crucial is asking questions. Okay. These sessions that MEPN and MPC have aspired to organize for all of us every now and then, these sessions are not for us, not for the experts, it's really for you. Okay, so please ask all your questions and we will take notes and ask them right at the end during the Q&A session. Okay, so this is so important. Hi everybody, my name is Maresa Ng. I think many of you know me, or if you didn't know me yet, we're connected now, so give me a shout out, say hi, say hello. I am actually the chairman of Community and Engagement and Development for SAMENTA Central. Any of you have heard of SAMENTA before? Small and Medium Enterprises Association, and we are the oldest SME association in the country. We just turned 35 years old. Yay for us. I'm also one of the virtual advisors for the MEPN Productivity Nexus. So for those of you who will take advantage of the virtual advisory clinics at the end, we'll teach you how to show up. I could be one of your advisors and many other incredible experts that will be at your perusal for you to talk about your business, where you want to go, and these people will help you to go further. And last but not least, professionally, I'm also the CEO and founder of the Spark Group Asia. You can go to our website. We are the leading executive business and leadership coaching company in Asia. We've got teams in Malaysia, Singapore, and Vietnam. So for those of you who know people in other countries and you want them to tune in, do by all means do that. Yeah. This entire webinar is also available on Facebook Live if you're not. So please go to Facebook Live, and after this webinar, you can also share it with your friends who have missed out and they're not here today. All right. So by all means, today's topic is such a powerful one. And I just want to get into this because I really don't want to waste any more time, because our two experts that we have for you today are going to share with you. How many of you have heard of the Manufacturing Execution System, MES? Can I see a show of hands? How many of you heard of this? All right. How many of you are in the midst of implementing something like this for your company? If you are, this is the perfect webinar. Now, I just want to recall something. Why is the MES system so important? I can't get technical with it because our experts are here, but I just want to say one thing. If any of you remember a webinar that we had, I think some months ago, we had Mr. Ng, who was from CLPG Packaging Sdn Bhd. Now, I want to say something that really impacted me. And when Mr. Ng shared this, I almost couldn't believe it. But he said that he went through his whole Kaizen transformation. He brought his business from here to here. And when I asked him what it was like before, he said one thing to me. He said, Maresa, one of the things that the reasons why I shifted. And I went through this whole transformation. I even went to Japan. I engaged the people here in Malaysia Productivity Corporation. I did all that. It was years of transformation, but I did that. Why? Number one, there was a lot of information, decision making that was all in my head. I'm the managing director. Semua kat dalam I punya kepala. It's all in my head. Now, number one, when it's in my head, I got to come to work every day. Number two, the decisions depend on me, not my capable people. They didn't know how to participate with the decision making to bring the organization forward. I couldn't rely on my production executives. I couldn't rely on my engineers. I couldn't rely on my finance team, because simply the information was not getting to them. And last but not least, and this was what he said to me that blew me away. He said, the speed of business is so fast that it cannot rely on me anymore. I'm like, oh my gosh. And this is the kind of forward thinking that many of us as manufacturers, whether we are manufacturing here, Malaysia, whatever product, okay, we need to be able to increase our speed of business to remain competitive, even with many of us know that the cost of business is going up or down. How many of you can tell me, is it going up or going down? It's going up. Is it getting faster or slower? Faster. So if I can, this topic today is very, very crucial. And without further ado, I do want to share with you, we all know it's important. We have all heard that digitalization, transformation, productivity, we've heard all these words. But how many of you know where to start? Now, we bring with you Dr. Chee Fai, who is the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Infrastructure, Kuala Lumpur, IUKL, to share with you how to enable, if it's not already clear, the importance of implementing the MES and what is the difference with MES and ERP. You know, everybody heard of ERP before? Very good. Thank you. What is the difference? Yeah, and how that's going to enable your business much further. The next person that I want to bring up is Mr. Alex. Alex Ng is from the Chief Executive Officer from DigitalTC Asia. And he has immense experience, almost 2 decades of implementing ERP and MES systems. So when I spoke with him just now, it was incredibly technical, but when he educated me and he showed me the steps and the slides, I almost could understand all of it. That's the magic, because sometimes we think that this is so technical that we cannot understand. We don't know where to start. So this next couple of minutes is going to make all the difference. At the end, guys, please write down all your questions, because we're going to get into the Q&A, and we'll start at 3 o'clock, which we did, and we're going to end off at 4:30. All right. So are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for the first speaker? Drum roll. If you are, let me welcome. All right. I believe this person does not need a lengthy introduction, because he is very much a leader in digital transformation. You have heard him in many talks, and he's even in the summit, I think the ASEAN Digital Transformation Summit, and amazing work that he's done. So let me just give it a little bit of an introduction for Dr. Tan. Dr. Tan is also the technical expert and the ISO IEC Smart Manufacturing Task Force. He's part of this task force and also a part of the International Electrotechnical Commission. So he's got immense amounts of experience, and he's also the Chief Technical Director for Robolab Technology Sdn Bhd. So guys, help me warmly welcome Dr. Tan.
Thank you, Maresa, for the very energetic introduction of me. Thank you. I'm very delighted on what you say. Thank you a lot. So I also very honored to be invited in this webinar. Also this one also the Maresa is a moderator for this event. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. So beside that, I would like to express my thankful to the MPC, Malaysia Productivity Corporation, especially Machinery and Equipment Productivity Nexus, to give me a chance in this webinar to share with you about the something about the shop floor. Okay, shop floor. Just now, I think Maresa also mentioned about ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. Now, this one also related to ERP. In this 20 minutes, I will share with you what is a MES, how it able to assist on your company, especially on the shop floor, and then to improve your productivity. Of course, this not only just talk like that. Of course, it's in the deep of your heart. You need to really understand why this technology or this tool is very important for you. Thank you. Right. So now I'm sharing my slide. Okay, I think you can see my slide, right? So my topic given by me for today is enabling your manufacturing execution system, MES. I think the another one, my brother Alex Ng, he will share about more to the application of the MES. Okay, I'm Chee Fai. I'm the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Research with the Infrastructure University of Kuala Lumpur. So just now, I think Maresa also introduced me as a brief. I work in the various government agency, NGOs, local, Malaysia, ASEAN, Asia-Pac, and international as well. And then in the bottom, you can see the many NGO in China I work, because I know that China is very advanced in the technology, especially related to the fourth industrial revolution or industry 4.0. So next slide is my humble, no, not humble, it's my contact it's my contact. So you can connect with me with the LinkedIn. Chee Fai Tan is my name. Okay, disclaimer, skip. Okay, the trend nowadays, I think you're facing a lot of challenges, especially if you are the manufacturing company or you're dealing with import export. What do you face? I think that it's a supply chain, right? It's an issue of supply chain. I think during the years 2020, in the most of the webinar locally or internationally, they also talk about the supply chain issue. It's because of lockdown, and then when it's even though the port is open up, of course, the many backlog, many delay need to be handled. So you need to pay more. Those who can pay more, you can get the early shipment to somewhere, right? Or you can get the thing as early as possible. So the most of the countries in the world, especially the Europe, US, and Japan, they want to rethinking of their supply chain strategy. So another issue nowadays, I think people talking about the lowest wages, 1,500 ringgit Malaysia. Yes, another one is about the shortage of labor, especially nowadays most of the manufacturing industry looking at what? The labor, the low-level labor to do something, to make something viable, especially the foreign labor. Without the permit, the foreign labor unable to come into Malaysia. This is the problem now. So the industry, I think through the many various of NGO, they saw, hey, I need more labor. If without labor, I cannot do anything. My productivity is very low, and then I cannot get profit. I can see the many order. Wow, the orders very, very good, but I don't dare to take it. Why? Because I do not have enough workforce to support. Okay, actually the shortage workforce are not only the low level, especially also related to the high level. It means the highly educated one, either engineers level, technician level, technologist level. The many, especially you talking about semicon industry. You look at the Patuka one, the factory lot, last time nothing, right? Of course, there's some of IUKL or some of the factory out there, but now everything booming like mushroom. Okay, it's because of the demand for the semicon component or electronic components is very high nowadays. Another one, of course, still not stable, especially now. I think China, especially Shanghai, is a total lockdown. Okay, before that, I think the Guangzhou a bit locked down here and there, and somehow got hiccup. That's why the supply chain is still not stable, especially if you depend the supply mainly from China or some of the major COVID-19 impact area. Then you can see, oh, you need to tackle about the delay and relook into your other sources of the supply, as well as smart factory. Because of so many issue, COVID-19, especially COVID-19 pandemic, already encourage, not say encourage, right? It can be force you to move faster, to change, embrace a new norm, right? This is something you need to think about in your mind. Why we need to embrace a new norm, embrace change as well? Because lockdown is a pandemic. It's I think in my lifetime, I hope that is the only one. No more pandemic or this kind of pandemic and lockdown again. The technology to improve their process and productivity as well. Okay, for cybersecurity, of course, when you go for smart factory or go for IoT,
Hello.
the factory is looking at is even the places people looking at ESG investment. So
Hi, Dr. Tan.
data you cannot see. Can you hear me?
Dr. Tan, your hi, your connection is a little bit intermittent, so you were frozen for a little while.
Now okay.
Yeah, now it's okay, but your connection, the signal is red in color.
Now okay.
Yeah, now it's okay. Now it's okay.
Okay, I just continue. No worry.
Okay.
It's an issue. If you don't have a good infrastructure support, of course this will happen now. I'm using the Wi-Fi for my office. Okay. So not transparent. So you need more data to make sure you know. How you know me? You know me through the very kind introduction by Maresa, right? Also a little bit I introduced. Then you want to explore me. Then you go to Google me. Then from there, more and more data you understand me, right? Then you know how to tackle this person. That's why I want to do your business as well. Okay, same as here. You want to know your process, correct. More info, more data from everywhere. Okay, and then not getting accurate production data. Yes, maybe you depend on people to record the data, right? Yeah, as you know, right? We are very flexible. We are human. We are very moody. We may modify the data. That's the one. Even you want to engage something technology into your process, make sure the technology itself is very reliable to get what you want. At least you get the clean data, the data that you want. Yeah, as you know, rubbish in, rubbish out. That's the point, right? Lack of the maintenance management supervision. Yes, because of you're not aware, you don't know what happened to the machine. When the machine really break down, yes, administrator, then you quickly call, hey, faster, I need something. If you need a spare part from overseas, then you need to wait for it. I know some of you will say that, hey, I got the preventive maintenance. Yeah, preventive maintenance is a periodically maintain the machine based on the time frame, right, that you set. How about in the between, right? This one very hard to predict, right? Then not getting up to date shop floor data. That's the one. You have a ERP, but you don't know what is happened in yes, this is an issue for especially manufacturing industry. Then of course this is the cost I show you. I think you know very well. Finance, marketing, management costs, production costs, labor costs, material costs. Of course, costs now everything increased, especially the raw material costs. If you're involved in chemistry, you know the impact, right? If you're in plastic injection, it's related to chemical, you know the impact. Everything is increased. As well as the profit wise, of course, you add up everything. That's why the price, everything, makan, minum, everything in the market increase. Of course, product selling price increase because this. So market competition reduce. Why? Hey, why? Because the competition is very fierce. Everyone, I know your price, you know my price. Not like last time. I don't know your price. Then how? Then the margin or profit actually reduce. Not much margin to pay. Right? This is a weapon nowadays. So you need to realign to reduce something to use something, or good people, or good talent, or good technology, software, hardware to come in to somewhat reduce the cost, right? So this one is for production visibility. Okay, because this conventional shop floor management issues are. Then shipment. Okay, so what happened in production? ERP can cater for the raw mat, customer order, branding, finished good, shipment, and others. But how about production? I put it in the black color because it's a black box. Wait for a while, unstable. Okay, now okay, it's a black box. You don't know everything, right? If you don't not go to the shop floor, you just on the top, you just sit in your office. You never know what happened in the production. So of course, you know this is a typical production line. Of course, throughout the information, you go here and there, right up. Okay, ERP, yes, it gives you some of the instruction, some of the clear direction to gather some of the information. But how about the production, the shop floor itself? Big question mark. So for this reason, they want one software called MES, Manufacturing Execution System, that cater for the shop floor data. This is a computerized system used in the manufacturing to track and document the transformation of raw material to finished good. You know the raw material, 1 ton of something come in, then come out with a finished good. Finished good means that you add A, B, C, D, E, F, G under that, becomes something. But in the process, within process, we don't know how much waste. What's the waste? What's the throughput time? Okay, what's the time spent? What's the delay time, buffer zone time, everything? A lot of things inside. Okay, for you to understand. So this one mainly to provide information that help you, especially the top management for the decision making. Then you know to do the proper planning, or better planning. Also you understand your strength and weaknesses in the shop floor, so that you can do a proper, better planning onward. Not to say that something happened, then you know, then you go for what? Put off the firefighting. Okay. So I think also this one is more to real time, more to operational technology, and then to enable control of different elements like material, manpower, machine, and method as well. So MES, according to MESA International, one of the agencies that define the MES. So MES is defined by this institution that drive effective execution of manufacturing operation. This one only designed for shop floor. It's actually close the gap of the ERP, so you can gather more precise, more accurate, and more real-time data from shop floor, and you can do the fast responsive, very fast response. Okay, as well as to track and shop floor WIP work in progress to provide a full product genealogy and collect the critical manufacturing information like the yield, what's the volume per second, per minute, per hour, okay, per day, defect, what's the defect, operation cycle time systematically. So this is the typical schematic. You see the data flow from manufacturing production to the second level. It's a manufacturing production operation, the different terminology, right? Of course, it's the data flow in here and there. At the end, right, you get what you want. You really understand, you can see through your shop floor. Another definition by ISA. ISA is a well-known international society of automation. So we can see this one, MES, not only that can deal with the ERP, as well as deal with the shop floor hardware like sensors, PLC, gateway, and etc. Actually, from this figure, right, you can see level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So MES fall in level 3, a lower, one step lower of with the ERP. Okay, ERP is a level 4. This is a schematic on it. So MES already capture a lot of information because the level 2 and 1 is a more to operation technology to capture the data. So manufacturing topology, we have the, of course, low level is a machine control, and then on top of that is a MES, ERP. At the end is what? business intelligence. That's right. The more data you can collect, just like a stock market, the more data you can understand for certain stock, right? The more accurate you can do the investment, whether you invest or sell or something. Same is here. At the end of the tip, it's a business intelligence. Then you know, oh, I know my company's strength, this factory A strength, B, C, D, E, F, G. I know. Then I know how to play. You are the strategists, you are the top management, so you know how to play around. They whether want to go for it or not go for it, no go or go, right? As well as, yeah, you can see management delay and real-time managing. Actually, you can see if you have a very delayed time to decide, then you will lose the market anyhow. Yeah, so you need to decide what to do next. So for more information will make you more clear about something and better decision making. So this is another one, OT, and then the MES level can different, like cater for manufacturing order, OEE, data collection, online SPC, etc. And then ERP, right? I think you know, most of you know what is ERP. Of course, intelligent business intelligence. Now we talk about the big data analytics, and then AI, machine learning to know the pattern. Then from there you know. Of course, you all with the many years of experience, you can see after you know, this data like that, then you can interpret. So how to translate what you in your mind to here? There's a software part. Software can do it, right? So IoT, big data, and yeah, everything. So advanced analytics at the top. So level is that you can see similar level 1 and 2, and then level 3 is a more to manufacturing operation management. Is where the MES is located. So the time frame here, you will capture a lot of information from the machines, from the shop floor, from the labor, and then you can how you do it is that the time frame you can make it like days, shift, hours, minutes, second. Mainly to cater for the workflow. So you understand from the raw material that you come into your factory, right? And then how long it takes for point to point A to point B until the end, until the finished good. So you know your issue, your problem, and as well as strength in your shop floor. Okay, at the end is a business planning and logistics. You do a proper planning, you know, you can predict and planning forward the shipment. Okay, so you quickly you order, then they can queue for you, right? So challenges of the traditional industrial automation stack is like that. Traditional industrial automation is what it is. It's actually the more silo. Okay. Current observation is that you can see under the control and supervision, there's a low level of interconnectivity between process step, as well as the no sensors and analytic built-in, and as well as machines within lines not interconnected. It's what happened nowadays. Most of the SMEs, even the mid-tier or etc., they have this issue because they already have the so-called machines in the shop floor, at the shop floor, it's here and there. However, because the machine itself is a very conventional, not conventional, it's already there. So you need to upgrade. This is what happened. As well as in the another layer, right? There's no MES, no software tool to understand the shop floor. You can say that, hey, I have the ERP, I will solve certain thing that can capture information, but information that you capture is not complete. Okay, and then you can see integration of SCM and other enterprise system missing. There's a lot of gap here and there. Okay, as well as manual transition between enterprise and operator layer. Manual translation means that you are ask a person to translate what happened in the shop floor. You may not get the actual information from the shop floor, right? Of course, software layer not connected as well. At the end is a connection, integration, right? So what does a MES provide? Number one, mesh or product definition. So we can decide A, B, C, D, E, F, G, based on your production rules, boom, build resources, process set point, receive data, etc. Secondly, management of resources. Then you are more clear on the resources by register, you exchange or analysis of resource information, aiming to prepare and execute production orders. Then you know from point A to point B how much material from point A to point B. Because you capture, you can use a very conventional handwriting, or you're using the barcode reader, or using the QR code or using the RFID, all possible, right? And then for scheduling, they will know, hey, of course, normally we know about FIFO, right? First in, first out, and some of the rules but this one only the on paper's ideal, but for execution it's quite challenges because you need a good planner, production planner in place for you to really know, for he or she to really know how to do the planning. Then if something order suddenly come in, I say, hey, I need this fast, I cut you, can cannot also can like that. So how? It's you mess up the thing. So you need that, right? And then dispatching production order as well. So you know about the batch and work order, the sequence of work order, not just writing on the whiteboard, right? I think most of the conventional company factory they write in the whiteboard, see in out using very manual Kanban system as well as to execution production order So you know about the resources information and you know about the progress of the production process. Then you know, hey, sir, boss, I have a quick order. 1 month 40 container. How can the factory do? Then you can check, hey, factory can do or not. 1 month 40 container, let's say can or not. This is a big question mark. If you don't know the what happened in the shop floor, you will not take it. Nampak tak boleh makan. This is a challenges past, right? Nampak pun tak boleh makan. Very pity sometimes, right? As well as the collection of the different portion data, process data, equipment status, material log information, etc. Okay. Also, continue is you also understand the production performance analysis. So the very simple one, I think most of you have heard about since 2 or 3 years in OEE, overall equipment effectiveness or efficiency. This is only one part of it, not all. You know about the performance of machine A, B, C, D, as well as how to measure the human. Nowadays, there's something AI. Camera with back-end AI to monitor the person production level as well. It's all possible. Why not? And then the last one, the track and trace completely history of lot, orders, and equipment. This one actually, there's one good example from where the Decathlon. Please spend your time in Decathlon because most of the shirt or product itself, they have a RFID tag at the shirt or as a label stick on it. So they don't need to did like that. No need. Just put everything in a box, right? Automatically scan it. Why they're not? Why? How come now? The same thing they will not. They're able to differentiate because every product have their unique ID, just like you and me. We have a unique ID. The product itself, you put the unique ID there. So that is a unique ID, the ID for that particular product, right? So the roles, MES role in Industry 4, of course, ultimate goal is a boost productivity by improving efficiency and flexibility. Then you know, what happened? Everything in your hand, in your hand. So easy for you to do planning, and then also you know how to whether it's time for you to sell company or not. That's something in the future. So here we talk about IT and OT convergence. Actually, to bring two big worlds together. Later, I think our brother, Mr. Alex Ng, will share about this in detail. IT and OT convergence. You need the IT people and talk to OT people, and these two people need to talk to each other. So that is all possible because OT side you capture real-time shop floor data, machine data, productivity data, and upload, transform in certain form of the information, and then captured by IT side. Let's say ERP or MES, like that. So the roles in Industry 4, of course, you can see advanced warehousing is a part of the advanced warehousing, like ASIS, automated storage and retrieval system, automated guided vehicle, and then also linked with the autonomous robot, like cobot, AI, etc. AFIP, the one I mentioned, MES system actually for work in progress, OEE, SPC, statistical process control, track and trace, ERP software, as an enterprise software, right? Of course, everything in your field because dollar and cent is very important for every one of the you as well, right? IoT is a hardware that can capture the real-time information. as well as machine learning, AI, more predictive maintenance. Of course, just to marketing. Actually, I also conducting the so-called MySQL IoT. If you're those are interested, you can contact me. MySQL IoT is a very basic entry level for most of the company in Malaysia. It's an initiative by Malaysian government under Bencana and executed by the MPC. This is a very good program. Thank you. So this is the general one. The journey of digitalization, you need to already understand. You need to know your strength and weaknesses. That's why SWOT very famous. Then in here, MEPN, MPC MEPN, we have a coaching. So Maresa is one of the virtual coach. Of course, he's not only virtual, but also a physical coach. They can coach you towards the digital transformation to change. And then, of course, the coach itself, he or herself, will do a gap analysis to understand what's the gap for you to close the gap, right? And then you can decide, coach you for the prioritization, prioritize the area, and of course the execution is very important. Execution is very important. Without execution, it's just theory on paper, very beautiful on paper. But how about execution? No, then nothing happened. As well as you all, I think most of you are very good in awareness like this. Awareness very good. You know about A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Then how to do here? The one I mentioned to you, MySQL IoT, one of the initiatives, so that you can have hands-on experience on the basic fundamental of the Internet of Things. Even though it's a user gadget, right? But at least you try out by yourself, do a very minimum programming. That's the thing. Awareness are very high, especially you all, because you are a good supporter, strong supporter of MPC, right? And then as well as MPC, MPN. But how about implementation? It's a big gap. You need a good talent, a good team. Of course, ultimately, is a top management, the leader themselves. You need to know what to do, have a proper strategy, roadmap towards the transformation. You need to put your footstep onward. So MES today that I introduced to you is just a very brief, not so advanced. As you know, just a tool only. It's just purchase and use it. But of course, for the implementation, you need a lot of strategy and planning towards it. You need to have a talent to be prepared. You need to know in the process how to implement into your shop floor, into your operation. And then you need that, and then culture change, etc., etc. There's so many things you need to do, okay, in order for you to transform. Okay. Last but not least, I would like to thank you again for MPC and MEPN, as well as Maresa for a kind introduction. That's all for me. Today I wear baju Melayu because later I couldn't have a buka puasa. Okay, thank you.
Wow. Wow, thank you. Thank you. Terima kasih. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you have motivated me. But I was also very energetic. Thank you.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I've seen so many of your talks. You're always energetic. So everybody.
Positive.
Positive. Wow. Well, that's good. Okay. That's good. And I really love that, you looked at the gap, because I think a lot of us as entrepreneurs, as leaders, we have a high awareness, but it's that implementation gap. And Dr. Tan, what I really love about your presentation is you had every opportunity to get very technical, because I think that's the depth of your knowledge. But you laid down the strategy so clearly that we could see all of it. So much so that MES and ERP are very different. So much so, yeah. I think a lot of organizations have ERP in place, but they don't really have the MES in place, you reckon? Yeah. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing. Everybody, Wei Ek Chan says, very nice to see you again. Everyone, if you have any questions for Dr. Tan, we're going to get to the question and answer in a bit. But for those of you who want to be in touch with him, please screenshot this and get hold of his email address, and feel free to reach out to him. Again, Dr. Tan is just involved in so many other areas of Malaysia Productivity Corporation and the work that he's done with digital transformation, including V-Skill IoT. He's certainly one of the experts that you want to speak with. All right. So Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the next level? I see that our group is growing and more people are coming in to this webinar. So guys, if you can, please share the link and get more people into this webinar, because the difference with being in the webinar and on Facebook is in here, you get to ask questions. All right. So please, questions at the end. Okay. So without further ado, I think this is very exciting. If you found Dr. Tan's segment interesting, I think we really need to peel into the next person, who is Mr. Alex Ng. All right, so Mr. Alex is the Chief Executive Officer and the CEO for DigitalTC Asia Sdn Bhd. He is an unassuming guy, again, does not need any introduction because he's spoken on so many different summits, one of which was the ASEAN Engineering Digital Transformation Summit, ASEAN EDX 2022. So some of you might have seen him from there, famous guy. But if I can, Alex is somebody that has been 20 years in transforming businesses and implementing ERP and MES across many organizations, both in Malaysia and out. But in the last 7 years, he started to realize the importance of the manufacturing execution system, yeah, as a critical part of managing the shop floor and production. Yeah. So if I can, everybody, help me warmly welcome Mr. Alex to give us the nuts and bolts to get started. Yeah, over to you, Alex.
Oh, thank you, Maresa. Wow. I feel so excited about from your introduction about me. Okay, so first of all, thank you very much for MPC and also MEPN for inviting me to give these talks. Digitize your shop floor to increase productivities. My name is Alex. I'm from DigitalTC Asia. So I am a technical guys. I mean, I cannot talk like Maresa. They are so energetic. Wow, when you introduce me, I feel like I'm a star. Okay, so never mind. But what I will do in returns is I will make sure today I give you a deeper thoughts about MES, and then I'll share with you my experience, and then I hope after the session, I think most of you will get more things from this seminar. Okay, so I think the first of all, Dr. Tan already introduced what is MES and how MES is going to increase your productivities. Okay, I'm going to a deeper. First, I'm going to talk about MES versus ERP. Okay, so this is oftenly when we go to the market, you know, some companies, they'll say, hey, why I need MES? Because I already have my ERP. I invested so much in my ERP. Why can't my ERP doing the job? Okay, so I'm going to share with you what is the difference, and then give you some live example in detail. Okay, so secondly, I'm going to talk about how to get started with your MES projects. Okay, so I believe when you sign up for these seminars, I believe you have certain intention to see how to fit MES into your enterprise, or you actually in the middle of implementing MES. Maybe this is something I can share with you. Okay, so what are some of the important notes that to be taken care. Okay, so I think later will be the Q&A, and also after that we are going to end the session today. Okay, so first of all, we talk about ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. This is the one I started 20 over years ago. Okay, so it's my first job. Okay, I do ERP. So when I first go to the business world, ERP is something really is a system that integrated to major of your business process. Okay, so in actual fact, if you look into the enterprise, so ERP is a software that manage every facet of your factory. Okay, including your finance, your store, your purchasing, your engineering, your marketing, your CRM, everything that is under the MES. This ERP. So it collects, store, and manage and integrate the data for many business activities. Okay. So what MES does? MES basically is a system that documents and track the transformation of raw material to finished good. Okay, so if you compare these two, right, the scope slightly different. ERP involves finance. MES doesn't involve finance. MES is from the raw material to the finished good. I don't handle logistics. I don't handle marketing. I don't handle customer service. Okay, so if you talk about MES, to simply put, we are managing the 4M, which is when we talk about production, we talk about 4M. First, input meanings is your material. What material you use to produce your finished good? Your personnel. Who is the operator? Who is the operator handle the particular process? Okay, your machines. Okay, which machine that you use to do the fabrications? Okay, support services here, meanings is actually the method, the processes. MES very focused on processes. Okay, because when you manufacture for this finished good, every process I need to track. Okay, whether you follow the proper sequence, whether you're using the correct material to do the correct processes. When there is a reject, how you do? I track all these things. So I break into very details of the whole transformation of the raw material to finished good. So these two is different. If you look at this, maybe you cannot get what I mean. Never mind, I will explain further. Okay, so this is a code. I want every one of you to start thinking, can ERP do what MES is doing, or vice versa? Okay, so many people will tell different answer, and today I'm not going to give you answer, but I hope after the session you give me your answer whether it can be done. Okay, so some of the slide here, Dr. Tan already explained, but let me explain in more detail. So this is we call it from Mesa, it's a ISA 95 manufacturing topology. Okay, if you look at the factory, okay, so it starts from machine control level, meaning that your machine, you have your PLC, you have your sensors, you have your actuator. Okay, those are, is immediately happens. Okay, it's a real-time manufacturing. Real-time manufacturing meaning that when you do a punching, immediately this is one count. This is a real time. Okay, second punch, oh, I have the outputs. This is a real time. This information is recorded at your machine level. Your machine have the counter. Okay, how much I produce, but that information sit at machine. Okay, but how this thing link to the MES? We need to do integration to the MES in order to know what really happens in your machines. Your machine has many other parameters. Okay, their pressures, their temperatures, their speed, when it's more open, when it's more closed. All this information sit at the machine level. Okay, so when you talk about machine level to MES, is real-time manufacturing. Okay, ERP difference. ERP is, we call it a delay management, because you don't key in every output after machine produced into the ERP. Usually what we do, like example, when I receive my finished good, I will wait until end of the shift or every hours, or by end of the work order, then only I record into my ERP for my shipment. ERP, I don't go by every pieces I key in. If I key in like that, I have so many machines, I cannot really cope. Okay, so MES is more into real time. ERP is more into delay. Information, okay, is from the bottom to the top. Because we talk about the information that happened in the real time, like just now what Maresa mentioned. Okay, the CPPL, the bosses, Mr. Ng, he want a lot of information from the shop floor. What is really happened in order for them to make decision. So the information, that's why, is from the bottom to the top. from the bottom to the top. But decision is from the top to bottom, because ERP will translate all the data being collected into dollar and cents. This is what MES is not doing. Okay, ERP has all the financial aspect, your costing, your purchase cost, your machine cost, how long you've taken to produce the product. I will tell you how much this batch of the product costs. Okay, this is what ERP is doing. But MES is not. If you talk about financial, I think that is handled perfectly from the ERP. But if you talk about shop floor, ERP doesn't go to the bottom level. So the bottom level is what? The bottom level here we talk about is OT level. Okay, we talk about machine devices, sensors. Okay, OT level, usually what we do like SCADA, we do data acquisition, we do alarm, we do a real-time control. Okay, so MES level, what it does? MES level here, okay, we handle from, just how I mentioned, the transformation from raw mat to finished good. Meanings what? Meanings when you have planned your work order based on the demand, then after, like just now Dr. Tan mentioned, after you dispatch the orders to the shop floor, I track from there. That is why you see here, work order, manufacturing order. Some company called job order, some company called production order is the same. Okay, it's basically an order that I pass to production to produce the goods that I want to ship to the customer. But in between, in order to complete this, I got many other things I need to do. IP QA, outgoing QA, okay, operator performance, okay, meaning that, you know, I want to know the OEE of this operator. I want to know whether this operators, you know, is being trained to operate these machines. Can they actually handle these products, this process, this workstation? So in MES, we try even up to the certificate that owned by every operators, whether they are being trained to operate this process or not. So definitely before they start, they need to scan their worker badge in order for me to do the validation. Okay, material usage and lot control. This can be very, very specific, because if you, for example, if you carry handphones, every handphones have a serial number. In fact, in every handphone manufacturer, if you do a scanning of the serial number, meaning that is their birth cert, okay, I can track back all the component that is being used to fabricate this handphone. This is what we call a material usage control. If you go to even deeper, in certain manufacturing, they control the lot level, whether I'm using a correct lot that is being specified by the customer to produce this. If they say I'm using a separate lot, okay, MES, even though I can alert the user, hey, this lot is wrong, or I can even stop the machine. You're not supposed to start with this lot because this is not the lot which is approved by customer. Okay, so you can see this is a difference. Okay, OEE is another topics. Okay, OEE is another big modules inside the MES. Okay, or even those you say you want to do data collections, you want to do a dashboard, or you want to do predictive maintenance, that is got to do with a lot of data collection from the shop floor. Okay, SPC alone, many people, they do SPC, but it's offline, or they use Excel. Okay, but in actual fact, in this MES, right, so you've got to do online. Online meaning what? You've got to take the data from the machine level, then plot the graph for you. So when there is anything before happen, you know, it analyze a trend, the system will show you, okay, what are the things that are going to be rejected. Okay, and another one is WIP tracking. This is another topics. We talk about trackings of every processes, their output, their throughput, okay, their qualities, etc. You want to know the WIP. But in actual fact, I can assure you, out of so many factories that I have been visited, their WIP tracking is still manual. The bosses, they really don't know. They really don't know how much WIP they have in their shop floor. I can assure you, maybe 8 out of 10, they don't know. They don't have a system to do the WIP tracking because it's manual. If you want to use ERP to do that, sorry, not possible. Okay, so why you can see ERP is on top of MES? Because in MES, we don't handle sales, we don't handle master planning or warehouse management, financial logistic costing, or even BOM. In certain cases, if let's say this company, they are not using ERP, BOM can be part of MES. Okay, if let's say they already have ERP, they already created the BOM, they already created inventory master, what we do is we integrate MES. So you do not require to do double job, and then you have the data integrity. Okay, secondly, master planning is something like MRP. When you do material requirement planning, you suggest what are the jobs you need to create. So because here you have the inventory information, you have the sales information, you have your purchasing information. Because from the forecasting and sales, then only minus off what you have on hand, only you know how much you need to produce. After you calculate here, then only you push to MES. Let MES do the job. Okay, so the last only the BI. Okay, so if you look at these topologies, right, I always say, in future, this is what you need to plan for your factory, because you cannot afford anymore in future, your shop floor data, you have no visibility at all. Okay, so in future, in order to be competitive, you got to link from the OT level to your enterprise, Only you know how much is actually happen in your shop floor. Then you can make decision faster. Without this layer, you cannot bypass from ERP to OT, because OT, the time scale, let me show you, the time scale is different. Okay, in the OT level, we talk about sub-second. Can you imagine how fast a metal punching machine happen? Pump. They talk about second or millisecond. In certain cases, second. Okay, this is start counting your output. So this information, I cannot go straight to the ERP because so fast. I got so many machines. Because you got to remember every transaction that happen in the ERP, there is a journal entry. There is a GL journal entry. You debit what, you credit what. If you do every single process, ERP, I can say goyak already. Because of too much of transaction that is actually going to burden your ERP. That is why in this topologies, right, we talk about MES at the level 3. MES do this job. Compile, I get the data from the machine, and then I calculate the output. But what I does is, after the job auto complete, then only I integrate to the ERP. So let MES do the job in between, ERP do the job on top, on the schedule, on the plannings, on the inventory, on the purchasing. But shop floor, leave it to me, because I will do this detailed job by integrating to the OT level. Okay, so I hope you can see the difference, and each of them, when the people that design this topology has their meanings, Okay, so you might not see it here now because now you haven't really do like machine integration. But when you start doing the machine integration, you got to know the data, the amount of data that you need to process every day is so much. So if any ERP vendor tell you that, oh, I can do MES also, I cannot give you an answer to say whether it's true or not. Okay, but you can ask them how do they handle these different 3 levels? Let them explain to you. Okay, so just now this slide also being shown by Dr. Tan. Okay, but what I want to tell you is this is what I mentioned is the architecture for IIoT, Industrial Internet of Things, IIoT. Okay, this is where the future of a factory should be. Okay, last time, if you talk about 15 years ago, no one will talk about MES because MES only afford used by those multinational company or semicon company, whereby by nature their process is very complex. They have already very fully automated. So last time when we started MES, actually industrial tech using MES is semiconductor. So semiconductor that happen and so precise that you cannot use manual. You got to use system to do. The complexity of the traceability is so complex until you cannot use humans to do. Okay, that was the time when we started MES. Now, the time when we talk about 15 years ago, okay, when MES is only mostly used by semicon or aerospace company. So people are looking into ERP, enterprise IT. This is where Malaysia last time when people start using UPS, but when a company grow into a certain size, the UPS cannot longer handle. They need our schedule system. They need to have a quality system, energy maintenance system, all these things. Then they go for the ERP. But now, automation is a trend. Any factory, you cannot live without it. Because after the pandemics, after the minimum wages, after the shortage of the labor, now automation is something that you cannot avoid. You got to move to automation. But when you start to do more automation, you cannot use manual to handle those data anymore. You've got to have this integration from the SCADA to the MES levels before actually you go to your ERP. So this is going to be a future trend. Okay, so you've got to prepare for this. If here is any is a IT head or you actually engineering head in the company, this is the architecture that you've got to start to look into this and see how to put it into your company future architecture. Okay, so just now I explained to you from the chart, but now I give you some live example. What is the difference between ERPs and MES? What MES can do that ERP cannot? Okay, I give you some case. Routing in system terminology for the process means that, example, you want to do a process. For example, you want to do a machining process. Okay, you have to do process A, go to stamping, go to degreasing, go to heat treats, go to machining turn 1, machining turn 2. Okay, in order to handle this in ERP, okay, you've got to create many warehouse location. Because ERP, they don't have a mechanism for the WIP tracking one. If you want to know, in fact, after heat treat, how many that I have completed, right? I got to create a location, and then after complete, I will do an inventory transfer. Let's say I decreasing, I finished 500, I will transfer 500 to heat treat. After heat treat completed, here maybe 50 rejected, I got to do a transfer of 50 to the reject warehouse, another 450 to machining warehouse, some sort like that. So ERP is very financial driven. And for you to do WIP tracking, you got to do a lot of warehouse transfer. Okay, if let's say any of you from ERP background, you will know what I'm trying to say. Okay, there isn't a route validation, meaning that I can transfer from here to here. I can bypass this process one. Okay, because it's a warehouse transfer. I can transfer from which warehouse to that warehouse. So there's no, we call it a route validation. Okay, so a track reject and reward by warehouse transfer. So route validation in MES means what? This process, after I complete, I can only go to this process. I cannot jump queue to this process. If I design my routing like this, you can see how difference between ERP routings and MES routing. MES routing, because MES routing, we do step by step. Okay, in this process, I may encounter reworks. If rework, I can go where? So I can do a drag and drop kind of the setting. So when I set this up right, then the process happen in actual manufacturing. Got to follow this routing. You cannot say after I complete this, I start this. Cannot. You got to follow the routing that I said. Okay, if you go there, I will alert you, and then you cannot bypass that. Okay, this is something that why MES is in place is especially when you deal with MNC customer, they will want you to have MES in place. Why I say so? Because they will say, if let's say everything you control manually, how do you ensure the actual process is accordance to the SOP if you don't have a system to control? So this is where MES comes in. Okay, and in certain cases that we have done for our customer, okay, we even do up to the machine integration, meaning that the machine have to validate this is the correct log or not before they can start. Okay, so this is the routing. Okay, you can see this is another sample MES routing. Okay, MES, even though I can say two processes start simultaneously. Okay, this is something that ERP cannot handle. Okay, I can say after I gather the material, okay, I can go to 2 stations start at the same time. And after these 2, then go to station 2. Station 2 got to make sure I got station 1 and station 5 completed, then only I can start station 2. Oh, this is something that I can start a few processes at the same time. Okay, so this is the visibility and the traceability. What does it mean? Because in certain industry, for example, metal stamping, okay, you have some lot tracking. You go by lot because you cannot have too big lot size. You got to have certain standard lot size. In certain cases, after this lot, I need to split into 2 machines. I need to split into 2 machines because this lot 10,000 each machine. I can handle 5,000, so I got to split. Otherwise, then my lead time will be too long. Okay, so after I split, then I may have to combine that into a new lot. Okay, this is something only can be handled by the MES. ERP, you don't have this. Certain ERP are very high-end one, they have this, but when you talk about splitting of lot, all these things, they are not so flexible. Okay, this is something that we talk about MES track staging, because when MES track detail of the WIP, it go into very deep. Okay, for example, you have 1 lot from stamping completed, you're moving to degreasing. Okay, so MES track what? Staging. Staging means what? Staging means that I have completed stamping and degreasing already accepted this lot. I haven't started anything. Okay, meaning that this is waiting to be processed. Okay, so but if let's say after I complete, I go to tell system which machine ID, which operator ID, how much quantity, okay, scrap or non-conformance, then I need to also specify which coin number of the material I'm using, the tube ID that I'm using. Okay, only after I start and complete, and when I start, then you go to the WIP. Yeah. So why we need to do that? Because this is allow the ERP to differentiate the WIP cost. Because WIP is something that I have produced, but I haven't I have completed this process, but I haven't transferred to the next process. Okay, because after I process the cost of this WIP differently compared to the staging. Staging is something that already complete this, but I haven't started here. So the costing between the 2 location is different. Okay, MES also do integration to machines. and for data collections. This way we talk about OEE, we track machine output, we check downtime and operator. This is a summary, okay? If you talk about ERPs and MES, okay? Operation-wise, we track by where this ERP by warehouse. Okay, then MES is really by the detailed locations. Okay, then reward is something that ERP track by warehouse transfer. In MES, we track every reward process. Okay, so activity trackings, we do like start and hold all this thing, location. Then we have more details, staging, warehouse in process. We can do splitting, mergings, labeling of the barcodes, scoreboard by line, by machines, non-conformance. This is something that in manufacturing, especially metal, plastic, you have reject. This reject, you cannot validate whether it needs reworks, it needs scrap, or you got to replace certain things and do sorting. So when non-conformance happens, so in certain cases, okay, you need a MES to do that. Okay, so MES, like just now the routing that I set up to you, when you have reject happen, okay, then you got to go through many processes. This is a non-conformance. Okay, tracking of the toolings and equipment, this is also handled in the MES, log validations, IPQAs, and machine or equipment integrations. Okay, so this is a part one about differentiation about from ERP to MES. Okay, now I want to talk about how to get started with your MES projects. Okay, so before you start any journey for the MES, right, I think you got to do some homeworks. So, but here are some 5 points that I would like to highlight, okay, based on my experience. Okay, first of all, you need to know really the problem that you are trying to solve. Because in shop floor, every day is firefighting. Every day is firefighting. There are so many issues. Okay, but oftenly when we go to a customer, we ask them, what is your pain point? What is your key pain point? Is it machine downtime? Is it don't have a visibility of your shop floor? Is it you have a throughput issue, not achieving your targets? Quality, many reject issues. Traceability issue, you can't trace, if there's any reject, you can't trace which lot of material, which operator, which machines, traceability issue. Process visualizations, order management, assembly operations, and maintenance support. Okay, so what I try to say is that when only you understand the problem that you are trying to solve, then only you have a clear measuring stick for improvement. Okay, secondly, this is very important. Just now, when we talk about MES, I can tell you MES is a big system. Not to say it covers many departments, but the level of the details that you need to do is far more detailed, far more details. Okay, so if can, usually we don't encourage like big bang implementation. Okay, so for example, like let's say this is the MES, but usually we'll ask, hey, what really matters to you most? I mean, what are the key problems that you are facing that you want the MES to solve for you? But I know you have 101 problems, but which one is most crucial? We got to tackle with that. Okay, so in certain cases, people say, oh, I have a lot of this machine down issue. Oh, yeah. Then we talk about OEE. If you talk about, oh, I want to have a visibility of my production order, then you go to production order, WIP tracking, all these things. But you say, oh, if let's say I want to improve my visibility and also my traceability, or then you got to do with the material control, operator control, and also some of the WIP trackings in order for you to know the traceability. Okay, so you got to plan and define your scope. Okay, so this is one example how it's a high level kind of scope works. Okay, like this customer, what they do is they already have ERP. Okay, so The problem is what? The problem is they don't know their WIP status. Okay, and then there are so many paperwork. Okay, so what we propose to them is basically since you already have work order from the ERP, so the MES will integrate to the ERP to take your work order. Okay, then we'll print out with the QR codes. Okay, so and then we use MES to do the WIP trackings, meaning that every station we carry a handheld. Okay, so when they receive the WIP from the stations, then they go to scan, and they key in the reject and output data. And this is happening in real time. So from there, they are able to track every hour what is my target and versus my actual. Or you use MES to do this. Then after you have completed the job order, then only you do a work order receipt. Go back to the ERP and then flash the usage of the material, etc. Okay, so this is a high level. You got to very clear, what the problem that you are facing, and then how you want the MES to do for you. Okay, so after you know the scope, right, then communication is very, very important. Okay, so it got to be how to say? I mean, the triggering of the implementation of the MES project, we got to see is from who? From who? Is it from top management or from the middle management, or actually it can be from customer as well? Okay, so this scope, your objective, the plan, you've got to communicate well from the top to the bottom, because end of the day is the people that got to manage the system. Okay, so but oftenly, I think in any customer, in any company, if they don't implement MES before, oftenly we face a problem. There's a gray area. MES should be handled by production or by IT. If you handle by production, they might not well versed in IT. If you handle by IT, they might not well versed in production process. Okay, but to overcome this, I think this is something that you got to sit down with the management. How do we identify a suitable person that handle this MES? Because MES in future is going to be one department by itself that it can handle the IT system for production people. Okay, then initiate the first phase. Okay, so start small. I always say, start small. If you talk about OEE, you have 100 machines. Don't do 100 machines at one go. Okay, maybe 100 machines you break into 5 processes. You start with the processes which is you have more confidence. Okay, so and then you start small, and then create timeline, purchase a hardware, and start questioning everything, and then plan for it. Okay, so us also measure the result of your current phase. Okay, is it currently defined or being achieved or not? Okay, and then make adjustment as needed. So select your next phase, and then when you start next phase, one thing is that you do not require to configure the software again, and also you only need to using the new features and function. Okay, so this is a example. Actually, I got to know in the market there are some company, what they do is they have a very basic modules, for the MES, handle schedules, your inventory, the workflow. Okay, workflow basically just now I showed is a routing. Okay, the workstation, equipments, personals, and order management. Here we talk about production orders and also sales order. So like this module, they give it like FOC. You can start. You have a few first. But when you start using, and then you can add on those modules. Okay, so I think this kind of the models is quite good. I mean, you actually bear very minimum risk. Okay, and then you start is something that's simple, basic, to have a feel of it before you really committed into a biggest cost. Okay. Okay. In summary, I know I'm running out of time already. So I think first, by the end of the sessions, I hope everyone that you should be able to understand the difference between ERP and MES. Okay, and then before you start your MES, know your problem statements, plan your project phases, scope of works, and deliverables. And also make it a phase. You don't, because MES is very big, and then usually a few years projects. So, but start small and then do in phases, make it less expensive and less risky lah. Or splitting the task and cost over, that will allow you to build up a payback for future. Because when you split the task over, right, then the first phase, the saving can help you to justify more budget for the second phase. Okay, so I think that's all for my sessions. I'll pass back to Maresa.
All right, thank you very much, Alex. Yeah, don't go anywhere because I think we have a lot of questions. I hope Dr. Tan is still with us. So without further ado, let me just get to some of the questions, guys. If I missed you out, please just give me a holler because I'm getting quite a few feedback. Huh? Okay, thank you, Chan, and thank you, Andy. Okay, the first question from Professor Philip Vincent. I hope he's still on the line with us. To any speaker, there are SMEs who have old equipments, machines that may not be able to sync directly with MES, and the cost to reconfigure, bracket time consuming, to enable the assets to sync with MES is costly. What is the best solution?
Okay, let me answer this. We do have those deal with very old machines. Okay, so there are many data sit into the machine that we cannot extract out. Okay, so that's why first we got to know the scope of the projects. Is it what they want is to know the outputs? Okay, or they want to extract many data from the machines? Okay, so there are some cases, for example, we do for some plastic molding company, the machine's 20, 30 years old, you don't have PLC. Okay, the data is sit in the machines. Okay, there are few ways that we're still able to take the data, but it's not so straightforward, a little bit difficult. We actually go to the cable levels, we get from the relay, we take the signal, and then we get the output. We cannot get too many information, but certain information, for example, simple one, output I still can take. Okay, so if let's say this is still not possible, then we got to rely on some sensors. Maybe we got to put some sensors to the mold in order to know it open and close, we do the count. Okay, so that is not a stopper, but it still depends on what kind of the data you want to extract from the machines.
Just to add on, I think you need to look into your investment, the strategy for this, because everything you want to put to capture the data from the machine, right, is an investment. Of course, it depends how many sensors you want to put in, right? This one is very important for you to understand what kind of, like what Alex said, what exactly you want from that machine. Is it just an OEE or others? Is it design? Then you can plan ahead. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much, Dr. Tan, and thank you, Alex. So certainly it's part of the investment planning so that there can be a better ROI from understanding the shop floor planning. Now, I'm just going to go to the next question from Paylin C. I hope you're still here. Paylin asks, so MES can control OT level without human intervention? So I believe that was when you were talking a little bit about MES, you were introducing it. But I think the second question, if I can just put this together, what is the difference between ERP production control with MES? Because some ERP solution has manufacturing module that has mixture of MES features.
Oh, okay. This one you asked me is the right question.
Yes,
when before I started with MES, I do ERP, and I was the production modules, ERP production module expert. So oftenly when people ask me talk about tracking of the WIP, ERP, it has a label posting features, meaning that when you set a process, you do a process posting to say, oh, this one I completed, how many, I take how long, and who is the operator handle this. Because you got to understand ERP label posting is for you to capture how many you have completed and then how long you take. Because end of the day, I want to know, okay, what is the cost that taken to fabricate this finished good. Okay, so but this is actually is the outcome. It's not something that there's no control, you see. Okay, so like just like I show you the routing itself from the MES, right? When we do WRP trackings, we track even further details, every lot, you know, a stagings, and then a complete reject, all these things. We got to make sure the in out is everything is tally. You cannot say I transfer to process 100, then later on this 100 I transfer to process B is only 98. MES will force you to specify where is this 2 unit used for. Is it a reject or you haven't processed? If not, then you cannot close the work order. It controls even more deeply. Let's only talk about the route, you see, but we haven't talked about, you know, integrate to the machines yet. Oh, so ERP control for the production order is more into the consuming of the material, time taken, and very seldom actually they do the WRP tracking, to be very honest. Okay, so end of the day, because I want to know the costing on it.
Okay,
yeah,
fantastic.
I think to add on, I think MES is not to control the OT level, right? It's more, you want to control the OT level, it should be a SCADA. That thing now, because MES is mainly to capture the information, right? Then you know what to do next.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Tan and Alex. Very, very good elaboration. So I hope Lin see that was useful for you. Just a continuation, how actually does MES integrate with machine data?
Oh, yeah. So many methods. Let's say the machine itself, we can link to their PLC. Okay, so then we will use certain machine gateway. We'll get a machine gateway to talk to the machine data, and then we'll use some programming language to transform the machine language into the database. Then from there we integrate to the MES. Okay, so there's so many ways. There's so many different protocols. If you talk about different machine, different protocols. So but there's a way. Not worried.
Okay, certainly. Lin is already processing this information at a different level, so definitely have to be in touch with you, Alex and Dr. Tan, to understand better. Yeah, so many ways of getting that done. Moving forward, yes, Tan Yet Mi. Tan Yet Mi poses this question to Mr. Alex, but Dr. Tan chime in as well. But is MES only for, say, manufacturing procedure by batch only, like a BMR? Can it be used elsewhere? Oh,
in fact, if you look, MES can handle various industry. Batch is one. Batch is basically, but batch is a lot of time is on the SCADA level. For example, like chemicals, this oil processing companies. Those are, I think, the MES is very into batch, very into the SCADA control. So, but even those in certain industry, we go even up to the unit. Every unit is a QR by itself. It's an identity by itself. So we do every unit tracking by serial number, or we can go by lot. Okay, lot is a very common. Lot means that you go by lot traveler. You have one work order 1,000, but you break like into 10 lot. Every lot is 100, and this 100 go to different processes. So MES handle many situations like that.
Okay. Hopefully that answers your question, Yet Mi. Of course, if you have more further questions, do get in touch with Mr. Alex. Dr. Tan, anything to add to that?
No.
All right. Okay. I think the next question is a very interesting one. Andy, I hope you're still here. Is MES suitable for high mix items? Work order minimum 1, maximum 300 pieces, but mostly work order less than 30 pieces. Daily, we have 80 items. Is the volume suitable? Alex?
Yeah, in this one, it depends on the situation. I cannot give a very accurate answer because I need to know what is the problem that are faced, and then secondly, what are the processes. You know, even though you produce one item, it's a project based, but this project based, it could take you 3 weeks, 1 month to fabricate the item. So in between, you need to track a lot of operator, how long they takes, right? All these things. So even though it's less in the quantity, but the amount of the data that you need to track is more, then you need a MES. Okay, so if let's say, you know, your this lead time very short, you know, like 80 item per day, but every item you take less than a day. Okay, so that means that in the detail, right, you may not require to do a lot of validation, and you reject everything is controllable using even manual, then you might not require to have a MES system in that sense. But it really depends on your this problem statement.
Yeah, I agree. That's why we need to even though we don't know each other, we need to really understand your pain point. Then we come in to close your gap. That's why as I say like that, we need to really understand why just 80 items. What's the pain point? Is it necessary to record this 80 item or not, or less than that, or more than that, whatever? It's good to explore. Future. Thank you.
Okay. Very good, fantastic. And the last question, I know in the interest of time, guys, let's just stick around for a little bit more. The last question is actually from Chan Chi Tat. So Chan asks us, we have an ERP system. Can we implement MES in our high mixed, low volume manufacturing line? We have no barcode system. We have many loose parts, not able to stick barcode there. What are your views, panelists?
I think this question a little bit like same like Andy. Okay, let's talk about high mix, low volume. We have customer in this situation, high mix, low volume. Okay, so and then they are very custom made because they are about 90% is made to order. They are not made to stock. So if you talk about those automated line, well, they are, you know, low mix, high volume. Those are, you know, happen very fast and you use MES. But if let's say you have high mix, low volume, okay. So like just how I said, you know, we got to look at your problem statement. Okay, is it because of you cannot track your WIP, or you want to improve your throughput, all these things? So we got to look at that before we can give you an answer. But if you talk about barcode, it's a way. I mean, by scanning barcode, you can also, I will show in the screen, then you click. Also, it's something like that. It's the same. So if you have loose part, then we have a different way of handle that. Or not necessarily every part you got to place a barcode sticker, because that is also very troublesome.
Yeah, there are many innovative ways to really put something on your product, but not necessarily what Alex say, sticker. You can laser, right? Laser engraving. Also you can use a tagging. There's a lot of method. The most important is that, is there any problem or not? Is it necessary or not? You need to ask yourself, throughout the process, you want to really track or not, or just to follow. Normally, we advise a client, right? Everyone is very unique. You have your own culture in your company, own way or doing things. That's why you need to really understand, is it necessary or not to adopt the MES? Right, thank you.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Tan and Mr. Alex Ng. I think everybody, can you join me? Warmly appreciate these two gentlemen for their time here today. I know that it has been an amazing session because the questions that are coming, you're making people think. But I think more importantly is, thank you, Azmaniza is giving you a applause there. So everybody, I think it's so powerful to be able to share something so technical in a way that we can understand the strategy. Yeah, you generalize it for us to be able to understand. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Rabiatul. Thank you for your applause. Thank you so much. Yetmi, very informative. Please get in touch with Dr. Tan and Alex. So if I can just get the sharing going again, and we're going to finish up. So thank you for your patience, everybody. Thank you, Faiz. Thank you, Saiful. Guys, please screenshot this and get in touch with alexing76@gmail.com. Can you also do the same for Dr. Tan at cheefaitan@gmail.com? All right, guys, please screenshot and then get in touch with these gentlemen. They will have more to be able to guide you to move forward. Ladies and gentlemen, again, those of you who have not capitalized on the virtual advisory clinic, please click on the link that we're going to share in the comment box now, or scan on this QR code, or screenshot this again and do something about it. Again, you can sit down with any virtual advisor on marketing, on human resources, on systems planning, digitalization, you name it, the list goes on. We will pair you with the right expert to be able to get you moving as soon as possible. Wow, the applauses are coming in, gang. Very, very good session. And again,
wait,
yes,
on that.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You all can also look for Maresa. Yeah.
Thank you.
Maresa also a very good advisor as well. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Tan. Thank you, Alex. I too found today just so insightful that I have to share with more of our SME community. Many of us from SAMENTA are here today. SAMENTA people, are you here? Can you make some noise, please? I appreciate your feedback as well. So Rahman from MEPN will share the feedback form. Those of you who want your e-certificate, please email arahman@mpc.gov.my so that you can get your certificate. All right. So thank you very much, everybody. We just like to say a very, very great thank you. And some last words from Dr. Tan and then Mr. Alex. Last words of wisdom for all of us that are here today. Dr. Tan first.
Wait, last one. I think you need to know what you want. And if you want it, you need to go for the budget and get the approval from the management. Thank you.
Small steps, small steps. Very good. Thank you so much, Dr. Tan. Alex, last words of wisdom for everybody here.
Yeah, MES is not something very complicated, but if you plan well, you scope well, you can make it a success.
Okay, fantastic. It's understanding the problem, going straight to it, and starting with the small steps. All right. So with that, everybody, just want to say thank you for being here. I hope the hour and a half has been very, very fruitful and that we get started with our digitalization, our transformation. Small step, a step in the right direction is a great step. So let us move forward, and all the best to you from all of us at MEPN, from Dr. Tan and Mr. Alex. Thank you very much for being here today. All right, so we're going to conclude today's session. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Maresa. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.